in support of ECOT in trying to straighten out the issues where the Department of Education basically changed the rules on the school district and made it impossible for them to properly report what the department seemed to want. There was a procedure that they were to report enrollment that was agreed to in advance, in fact some 13 years worth of operation by ECOT, and the rules are fairly straightforward. ECOT was passing audits. They were reporting data as they understood the department wanted and as the department had collected it. Somewhere mid-year or a little bit later, the Department of Education changed the rules or policies and procedures around data collection on enrollment, and then asked for retroactive data, which obviously the school didn't have. They didn't know they needed it. And so then that data was presented as if they could not, or that they had not enrolled a student. So basically they changed basic enrollment as in we provide schooling and the student may be in attendance or may not be in attendance, and basically report ECOT just like regular bricks and mortar. And they changed it to the student has to be engaged in the computer for 5 hours a day. You can't do it in 10 hours every 2 days. You got to do that 5 hours every day. Otherwise, you're not counted as present. In this particular case, there's two issues at hand. One is bricks and mortar schools and regular community schools, other than e-schools. If you look at the rule they retroactively applied, they don't have to live by that. If I'm running a school and a student is absent, I get paid for that student for the year. In fact, I only need to have that student arrive 1 week in the fall and 1 week in the spring, and they can't miss school for more than 105 hours at a time, and I get funded for the student. In ECOT's case, a student that had missed 105 hours wouldn't be counted as present, and so that's the first thing. The rules that they want to apply to ECOT aren't consistent with the rules that are applied to all the other schools in Ohio. The second thing was the retroactivity. To your point, yeah, they're worried about testing time, what they should be, and the young lady was excellent at describing this. Why don't you worry about whether I actually learned something, not how long I was sitting on the computer? And that young lady actually is more consistent with modern thinking about school funding than what they're trying to do now. In fact, the rules that they're putting in place are the antithesis of competency-based, mastery-based, personalized learning. For 15 years, that was one of the most sacred things that we always did at the Department of Ed, is you never went back and changed the rules. You would have, if you changed graduation requirements, it took 10 years to implement them because no child would have to be expected to comply with something after the fact. No state, all the funding systems always had guarantees that were long periods of time that if there was a negative impact on the school because of a change in policy, that it wouldn't be adversely affected, that it would have time to implement. We never said, oh, well, we didn't tell you a year ago that we want this data, but here's what we're going to require you to do. It just never happened. It was just a basic functioning policy or principle. This and the sponsor evaluation process both have these, we didn't tell you what you had to collect, but here's what you got to document, otherwise we're going to give you a poor rating, or in this case, loss of funding.